Kate Milafalcha, welcome to Psychics and Psychos. Psychics and Psychos.
She loves to do that.
I just can't help it. I was encouraged by a mutual friend earlier to do it too. So.
Who? Does it start with a D and end with an E?
No, it starts with an M. And
oh, okay.
With an N.
Okay, I know who that is.
Oh, can I tattle while we're here?
Yeah,
and I'll
sure.
do it public in front of anybody. You know why nobody showed up for class?
Why?
A certain somebody told everybody there was no class.
Who's that?
Somebody on Tuesday.
Don't you're kidding. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Why would she say that?
Well, it wasn't on purposely malicious or anything. She just didn't, who knows?
Maybe she thought there wasn't because it's close to. I don't know. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's why nobody showed up. Okay.
I know because I did get a little note from somebody about something different from class. And I said, we missed you today. And she says, what are you talking about? There was no class.
Yeah, there was. Oh, well.
All right.
It's okay. Maybe just because of the 4th of July holiday, she probably thought it was canceled. That's probably what it was. Because tomorrow is canceled for the astrology class. So that's probably what got confused. Yeah.
So nobody cares about this, of course. We're doing our personal correspondence here for the
Yes. Hello.
So today we're doing Robert Hansen, whose name may not be familiar to everybody. You didn't know who
I didn't know. I had no idea who he was. Yeah.
He has the really compelling pseudonym, the Butcher Baker. He was a baker and
a butcher.
He was a serial killer, and I'm very briefly going to just hit the high points, mostly for Denise's benefit, but to remind myself too. So he was a butcher. He was a loner. He had difficult relationship with his dominating father. Tuck that away in the back of your head. He took refuge, like he distracted himself from a young age in hunting and archery. Remember that. He was an assistant drill instructor for the police academy. He married a much younger woman. He was involved in arson of a school bus and did a 3-year sentence at the state pen. His wife divorced him. He was diagnosed with manic depression, which bipolar disorder, with schizophrenic episodes. So he was a mess. The psychiatrist wrote that he had infantile personality. He showed signs of an obsessive need for revenge on anyone he felt had wronged him. He committed a series of petty crimes. He opened a bakery. Now, this is in Alaska. He was arrested for trying to kidnap a housewife. Then he was also charged with, I don't know how to say this, doing something that wasn't part of the bargain to a sex worker.
Okay.
Okay.
Raping.
Get what I'm saying?
Raping them?
Yeah. And he took a plea deal. Can you believe they just didn't treat those?
No, they didn't care.
Accusations seriously.
No.
Then he had problems with deadly weapons. Charges got dropped. Seems like every time he got caught, he got away with it. The situation with the sex worker, he spent 5 years in prison. More larceny, more theft. So this just kept up. But in the background, there was a whole lot more going on. He is responsible, without going into huge detail, for the deaths of 1, 2, 3, hold on, 10, 14, 17, 18 people for sure that they know about. And so this is his basic modus operandi, which is like how he did it.
Right.
He would either contact a sex worker for an exchange, He'd arrange a date with somebody that nobody really knew he knew, like a random waitress or something. Sometimes he just took young women from the side of the road. He flew a plane. He had a small airplane, and he
It was
would.
Alaska, wasn't it? I mean,
Yes, yes.
and I have to say before you continue, Alaska has the highest. It's like women to men. There's more men than women, and rape is a very common crime there. It's the highest incidence of rape of any state, Alaska. Did you know that?
No, but you're not supposed to say that word.
Oh, sorry, grape.
Anyway, no, I didn't know that, but does it surprise me?
No.
No. So men commit
Very
over
rural.
90% plus of violent crimes.
That's true. Yeah.
So he would put them in his airplane.
Oh, God.
Coerced,
Yeah.
Usually handcuffed, fly them into this wilderness area. And how they found a lot of these after the fact, they didn't associate him with it, but they found one that they could link to this area. One young woman got away, which is really remarkable. And what he would do is, assault and strip them and send them off running into the woods, and he would hunt them down like he was hunting
Animals.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this guy was really,
Very
really
sick.
scary. Yeah. Yeah. And he eventually was caught. I'm trying to remember how that happened. Oh, I know how. I remember how it happened. Somebody just accidentally happened to catch the license plate of his car next to an airplane. And they I somehow made the association, and he was thrown in the pokey, 461 years in prison.
Wow.
With no parole. So he started out in federal prison, but they moved him back to Anchorage because his health was bad, and he died of natural causes in 2014 at the age of 75.
Wow.
So, and when you look at pictures of him, he reminds me of any number of weirdo serial killers from the 50s and 60s, very gaunt, thin, white collared shirt and big glasses.
The aviator glasses?
No,
the aviator.
No. The dark black, like Charles Whitman, the Texas.
You're talking about the sort of horn rim glasses. Yeah, horn rim.
Heavy black, yeah.
Right.
The guy that drove across country, didn't he have those kind of glasses? I don't know,
but I just remember like every serial killer in the 60s, 70s, and 80s had the aviator glasses. It seemed like
Joe Cool.
I don't know what that was all about, but this is a really common style of glasses among serial killers. Yeah.
So in my opinion, the fact that he had these really from the beginning problems with his father, problems with authority, and his need for revenge, those sorts of things are really on the checklist, for psychopathy. Did he have a head injury when he was younger? I never was able to find out. I don't know.
Right.
Because those do factor in. Just a loner, a weirdo. Right. I mean, he was a weirdo from the beginning.
Right.
And a bakery job is perfect for that because you get up and work at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
The bakers are not the ones who are necessarily handling.
No, they're not the salespeople. Right.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. Well,
we had a really sad thing here. We had a really nice little bakery. The people were from Portugal. Second generation, but that's the kind of stuff that they baked. We were gone visiting my family. That's a whole other tragic tale. And while we were gone, the young 2 brothers ran it. The young brother that was kind of the front man, he and his wife were working on the foundation of their house, and the foundation of the house fell on him.
Oh God, that's awful.
It haunts me. Yeah.
Wow.
It haunts me all these years later. It's just
that was like terrifying.
35. Yeah, really. When you think about it. So anyway, this guy Hansen was a piece of work, but he's famous. And, there's that short story, The Most Dangerous Animal. based on a previous work of somebody that said that the most dangerous animal is the human. We're the is it the apex
predator?
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking at his chart, and guess what he has?
I don't want to be the first to say it. You say it.
He has a nodal conjunction.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? Oh my God.
Yeah. They always
it's been
do.
100%.
Pretty much. I'd say that if you look across the spectrum of all murderers, not just serial killers, you're going to find about 90, depending on the pool that you're looking at, you're going to find it between 85 and 95% of the time.
But I mean, the people we've done.
And the people we've done, every single one of them. I think there was maybe one that didn't. And we've done how many so far? Probably at least 20.
A ton.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 30. I don't know. But so
no end in sight. There's no shortage.
No, there's no shortage. But pretty much that is a standard thing. That's about that is like literally the most consistent thing in all of the astrological, stuff I've looked at for the last, God, how many years we've been doing this, is that nodal conjunction is always in play. And that's, so in Vedic astrology, it's considered a sign of some kind of mental health problem. And it's like a bleed through from another lifetime. And in his case, he's got the South Node with Uranus and Ceres conjuncted, and that rules his sun because he's an Aquarian.
So in English, that means.
So what that means is he's mentally ill, okay, and he's erratic. He was probably not nurtured properly with that Uranus Ceres conjunction on the South Node. Probably had a weird childhood. He was probably somebody who was an outsider, who was a kind of a weirdo, like you said. There was some kind of bleed through of being kind of a freaky weirdo from another lifetime.
Does that explain his anger towards women? Because let's face it, that's pretty
obvious, Yeah. And he's got Moon in Capricorn, which mom was probably hard on him, and he probably didn't like his mom very much.
Well, his father was. His mother.
Well, his father might have been too, but his dad, he's got a Saturn square from Aries, so his dad was probably kind of violent, and mom was probably kind of cold. And maybe mom was better than dad, but he didn't feel he got the love and nurturing he would have wanted from her.
She didn't get her fair share of information. There really was not very much information about her. So I get the impression.
I'm not even saying it's her fault. This is something he came in with. Like, he's going to be oriented this way no matter who his parents are. So
I get the impression she was one of those retreating into the background, kind of mousy.
She probably was, but she might have been kind of cold. That's the word with a Capricorn moon. Kind of cold, kind of reserved. Venus is on the moon, so maybe not necessarily a hard person, but not loving, supportive, warm, fuzzy, touchy-feely, sort of removed. And kind of could be harsh, probably, and kind of hard. But with the Venus conjunction, she might have been a little nicer. But it's trining Uranus, so he might have gotten along better with mom, but it squares his Saturn, the ruler, in Aries. So maybe he resented his mother for not standing up for him with his father. Maybe he felt like it was her fault too, that she didn't protect him or something.
Yeah. You do see that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And, because there's that square. And I bet you the father and mother probably did not get along very well with that square. And he's got a Mars squared Jupiter. So that exaggerates his anger, makes him more explosive, makes him somebody who's, likely. I mean, it's not necessarily like it's also trining his Saturn. It's the top of his solar chart. So it's the most prominent thing about him is he's angry, and he's kind of, I guess you could say, vindictive, but vindictive wouldn't be exactly the word I would use for this. It would be more like vengeful. Yeah. Like just acting out of his anger and vengeance, and it's excessive. He can never be satisfied. It's never satiated. And Mars in Sag is a hunter type of placement. Sagittarius,
Oh
is
yeah,
the
it would be.
arrow,
Yeah.
right? And so it's sort of like, it's sort of it's a sport for him to basically find a way to harm people and to take out his anger on probably he picked on women because it was easier too, I would think. That could have been part of
the
it.
power differential, the ability
Right.
to
Physical
dominate.
power. Yes.
Yeah. And then I think how he treated them, humiliation was a part of it.
Right,
so
right.
There's sadistic things going on there.
Oh yeah, that's the Saturn trine to the Mars. It came out in a very kind of, and that's probably his father was probably like that.
Yeah.
And that's probably why he was like that. It's learned behavior, the Saturn trine Mars. It's like he's gonna dominate and be in control and be the boss and hunt them and use them, and that's going to make him feel better. He's got a Pluto in conjunction to his sun, which means he felt powerless himself, and that may have been why he's angry. That's why he asserted his dominance over others. Yeah. So he's also got a Neptune in conjunct Mercury, so he's not a very integrated person, and that can be a sign of like a personality schism. It's not always, but it can be one of the side effects of that. He's got a bunch of inconjunctions. So usually like people with a lot of inconjunctions have some kind of like there can be different reasons for that. Not always is it nefarious. Like sometimes it could be someone who's kind of on the spectrum who can't, process things right, or they kind of have like, parts of themselves that are kind of sort of sequestered from other parts of themselves. Or it can be someone who's schizophrenic or bipolar where there's parts of their personality that and in his case, he's got a very active Mars thing. He's got a lot of anger and violence kind of tendencies. And that's sort of out of control in his chart, as opposed to like his feeling like an outsider, feeling like nobody likes him, that he's not lovable. He has no value in a way. And that need to dominate. He's got the North Node in Scorpio on the vertex. So that's his way out of it, to be powerful and control and use his, sexuality and death and destruction as his way to feel like he, to satiate that feeling of being an outsider and like he doesn't fit in and that he didn't get the love and nurturing and attention he wanted and that he feels worthless, if that makes sense.
When you see that kind of dichotomy in people, does it always indicate or manifest as a psychological problem, or could it indicate somebody who is you've met one or two people like this that are extremely creative and really talented technically, and they've got that balance going on that they
no, it doesn't have to be bad. It can be something like where somebody has two different things about their personalities that don't interconnect, but they're just, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that they can't integrate those things. In his case, though, he does have a nodal conjunction on a stellium. He does have the South Node, his Uranus, his Ceres, and in his solar chart, his part of fortune on the South Node, and in the solar chart, his vertex is on the North Node.
So tell us again for people like me who can't remember from 1 minute to the next, because we're not fluent astrologically. When you see a node, what red flags does that put up?
Okay, so the nodes are your shadow stuff. They're your unresolved. The North Node is your fear. Your South Node is your Mars, kind of malefic Mars. So how you act out of your fear. And in his case, it's with women. It's Venus ruled, right? And he felt he could do that. He felt he could control or he had access to women. So that was easy for him. Okay. So it probably was more convenience that he acted out against women than men. He may have been more angry at men, but just it was easy to get sex workers and people like that, to people who were outsiders like him. Uranus South Node series, women who are outsiders, women who are sex workers are not really part of society in the same way that normal women are, and that was sort of his self-hatred kind of, and his shadow stuff, his being traumatized as being an outsider. And feeling unnurtured and devalued and feeling worthless. So he picked on people he felt were worthless, right? That fit his own. So that was sort of, and then the North Node in Scorpio
almost
is
a projection, huh?
A projection of the stuff he hated in himself, right? And that he was uncomfortable with. So then the North Node in Scorpio is sort of domination and power and control. And that's kind of what that stuff was probably all about, was trying to find a way out of that feeling of being worthless and outside of everything. So he's trying to destroy that in himself by destroying other people. You know what I'm saying?
I have a theory based on what you said, but also based on the cards, which we'll get to in a second. I had the impression that he was a loner. He was an oddball. He wasn't popular. And I think that his low self-esteem.
That's right.
He was able to lash out at the people that he blamed for teasing him, rejecting him, making fun of him, and be powerful and dominate and prove that he was
right. And he has a lot of anger as well. I mean, if he didn't have all that anger and kind of feeding all that, he probably wouldn't have acted out necessarily in a violent way, right? On people. But that Mars Jupiter square is just very intense anger, and then it's in conjuncting his Uranus, which means he didn't really have control of his temper completely. He probably would go into a rage, and then he would probably try to find a victim. That would be my guess. Like if he felt slighted or felt like his wounding came back out, that would be like
he would deal with it.
It would like separate. He probably felt this like he's not somebody who would have been in touch with his feelings. Okay. So if he had like been slighted or hurt and he felt devalued, that would start him on probably this, or like he doesn't fit in. That would start his anger and his like all this roiling kind of intensity. And he probably, then it would focus him on that side of his personality. And it wouldn't even be connected. He wouldn't even probably connect the dots between those two things. But that would set him on the path to want to hunt people and dominate them and all that shit. So he's kind of broken in pieces, if that makes sense, that don't fit together. And he doesn't understand his own, who he is really, or what is going on with him really,
his emotions, he's not connecting them.
No.
In his head for like, why do I feel this way? Yeah. He never makes it to that point. Yeah.
Right. He just acts on it. And that's probably why he was diagnosed with different mental health problems, like bipolar or schizophrenia, because he doesn't know how the pieces come together in himself.
There's a word for this, and I can't remember it off the top of my integrated. He's not integrated.
Right. Yeah. And so he probably presents like he might be schizophrenic. I mean, I would not be surprised if he was. I really wouldn't. Or he had some kind of serious mental health problem that was part of why he couldn't connect the dots. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it can be the chicken and the egg, because I'm such a professional. I think it could be either one. You could have a child. I see a situation where somebody who's not really well versed could have a child that was really schizophrenic, and they're identifying it as oppositional, defiant, difficult, disobedient, lying, this and really punishing the child for things that are out of its control. I bet that happens quite a bit.
Yeah, and that could have been part of what fueled this.
It started young. It really did start young.
Yeah. He probably should have, I mean, nowadays, if somebody hopefully would have identified him and put him in therapy or something, because he's obviously got some very clear signs that he's not normal,
Well, let me ask you something from a more metaphysical, sort of spiritual point of view. You come into this lifetime, you bring your baggage with you, you have perhaps an agenda, we'll call it that, some sort of purpose for being here, but you're hampered by these negative things that come with you when you're born, his being the inability to identify and understand and control his emotions. So where does personal responsibility end and you become a victim of your biology? Or I know that we're supposed to deal with our karmic situation, but what if somebody is so messed up so early? I think I ask you this all the time. This is a question that really bothers me.
Yeah.
Blame, how, you know, because I was raised a Catholic, somebody always has to be blamed for everything. Who deserves to be held responsible for their actions when they have so little agency over them?
I think you can look at it in a couple of different ways. I think one, the spirit, the soul of the person who picks this lifetime or gets kicked into this lifetime because they need to deal with something. Ultimately, the choices that you make, are yours to make, right? But as a child, obviously, you could say the parents, if they don't identify that this kid has problems and they don't help the kid, then it is partially the parents' fault, because nobody has to necessarily become a serial killer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even if they have these traits, you can, but back then, I mean, he was born in the 30s. I mean, it's not like there was public discourse of about psychology. It was just sort of like you get thrown in a mental institution or, you pretend to be normal.
It was very
so you can't, so you really can't blame his parents entirely. They probably did not understand what was going on with him. So ultimately, I guess, then it gets to the metaphysical question of like, why is this allowed to occur?
Right.
And I think that that's probably because the way this world is structured, there has to be negative things for growth.
Yeah.
And so, some people think, oh, well, the person is playing the bad guy in this lifetime, or maybe there's a spiritual purpose for that. And I think I don't know about going that far, but I do think that this possibility is allowed. It doesn't have to happen, but I think it's allowed by the universe. Right. There's a lot of these people who come in who could go that way, and some of them are going to go that way, and that's just part of like the choices people have to make and the things.
Right. Free will. We all have free will. I think we get I don't know, placed, thrown in. We decide to be in the circumstance of this lifetime, and every single relationship is significant, to the smallest to the largest. They're all very significant in our path, but there are infinite numbers of directions we can go, and those directions depend on all of the choices that every single person makes. So it's huge when you start to think about the potential of what would unfold. But there is a defining, I don't know if you call it skeletal structure to
I think so. I think so too. I think it's kind of like, I think about it as sort of, I used to think about it this way. I don't know if it's the best way to think about it, but you have all these roads laid out in front of you, right? But at certain points, you're gonna hit a stop sign or a stoplight, no matter what road you're on. And that stoplight or that stop sign is a karmic moment where you have to just pause and deal with your shit. And you're going to have those happen no matter what choices you make and no matter how good you are or bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have a certain map and a certain sort of a possible map of many different, but it's all within a certain range of things. Like you're not going to, if you have a certain chart, you have a bunch of planets in Cancer, all in the 4th house. You're not going to go and live in Germany, probably, if you're an American. You know what I'm saying? You're going to like being at home.
I don't know what those two things have to do.
So you're going to want to be a homebody. You're going to like being at home. You're going to like your family. You're going to be family oriented. You're not going to necessarily want to go and live in Spain off on your own, adventuring through, Europe and everything by yourself.
Different language, different culture,
learn a different and just transplant yourself there permanently without your family. That's not going to be your thing. If you have a bunch of planets in Aries, yeah, you probably would. You might do that. But so there's certain constraints to your personality just based on like what I think the Greeks used to say, character is destiny. It's sort of like certain personality traits that you are built into the cake with your chart. They define your choices and kind of they are the map of where you're going to be strong and where you're going to be weak and what limitations and what things, superpowers you're going to have. And so that will kind of keep you within a certain boundary set, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. I don't think about it as much as choices of detours along a path, as much as I think of it as being in a web, like a network, because everybody's choices affect everybody's choices.
Sure, that's true.
And so if A, then B equals C. You just
right.
It is mind-boggling for our little brains to comprehend beyond a certain point.
You're right. The intersections that have to happen.
Going right, it's not Robert.
No, you're right. No, it's not. It's because that's just your own metaphor. But yeah, you're on the road with all these other people making choices of which, and the fact that you run into certain ones at certain places. I think that's also probably like, I think there are many people you have karmic kind of connections with, and depending on the detour you take and depending on the detour they take, that particular set of things will be dealt with.
Affects each other, yeah.
And then like if you had gone a different way, you might have ran into a different set of people you have karma with,
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's like the LA freeway at rush hour. You just never know what you're going to hit.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it really it emphasizes the potential that we all have.
Yeah, definitely.
I told you when I was a child, I used to, because I don't know, maybe I had nothing better to do with my time, but I would daydream. I'd sit like this and I'd have a pen sitting on the table, and I'd think, if I pick up that pen, the whole rest of my life will be different.
I remember you saying that. Yeah, that's funny.
I love that because
the butterfly theory.
It's true.
Yeah.
It may not be consequential. Look, I picked it up. It may not be consequential, but there's some basic truth to that,
Yeah, every decision you make leads to another decision. Yeah. And you make them all the time. You don't even think about it, all the time. Yeah.
Okay, so do we have anything else about his chart?
Not really. I think that basically sums him up. I mean,
I think it's interesting that he's virtually unknown or barely known.
Right.
In the panoply of the pantheon of serial
killers. Yeah. And that's pretty harsh. Like sounds pretty sick what he did.
A lot of people.
How many people did he kill?
Well, I think they know of 18.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
Okay, so his cards really echo what you said. When I read them, I was agreeing with you while you were talking, because when I read the cards, it's the same basic message that I got. So at the heart of it, the Queen of Swords crossed by the reversed Ten of Swords. And so this is my theory.
Interesting.
On these cards. I think his life was lashing out at some kind of betrayal. I think it's about vengeance. I think somebody early on offended him in a particular way, and every time that emotion was revisited, like you said, he would act it out again. But it's this constant.
Well, it's interesting. What you're saying too is interesting, because all that stuff, that Uranus South Node Ceres conjunction on his South Node, it's all a Venus ruled. It's all feminine.
Female, that's right. Yeah.
And maybe it's a past life too of it, of him being victimized, feeling like an outsider. Yeah. And maybe he himself felt like he was kind of like the mom in his story. Do you know what I mean?
It reminds me of a little bit. It reminds me a little bit of the guy who the Idaho college murderer.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
Lashing out against, he claims that he was bullied by girls because he was overweight, and he and his mother have this bizarre relationship. Yeah. And there's speculation. I don't know if we'll ever know the full story there, because he's not talking and the cops are very tight-fisted with the information. But I don't think they really know how he singled out those
girls
women. I think he saw them, either interacted with them in person, like casually. They think he may have gone to the restaurant, one of them.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Or a party, because there were endless college parties. It was very quick, like an 8-mile, maybe 8-minute drive between the two colleges across a state line. And also heavy presence on social media.
Right.
And he might have stumbled on them there, but that's a different guy. So then I get in the atmosphere, the Two of Pentacles. One of the things that comes up in his cards is this is a guy who was really good at juggling variables and making plans. And he was very proud of his plans and very proud of the success. It was all about the details of how he would snag them and get away with it. And it was very successful over a period of years. So, and also this is about playing games, which is what he did with them. He really tortured them psychologically on top of everything else. And look at the foundation of ever. Seven of Swords.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Stealing.
Sneaky and underhanded.
Sneaking,
plotting,
stealing,
planning,
lying, manipulating.
Yeah. So in the recent past, I got this card that really made me think. And then I thought, okay, well, what you said about karma, I got the World.
Interesting.
And, I'm covering delicacies here.
Right.
I got the World, and it's cycles, right? And karma, right?
Yeah.
And
maybe lots of opportunity too. Maybe everything around. Maybe people didn't notice him or think about him that way because he's sort of
he blended
the baker.
In. And keep in mind that this reading is supposed to be when he's arrested or when he's caught or when he's identified, right? So this is the end of his little run. This is the near past. So what do we have moving forward? Well, we have the Ace of Swords, and I always think of the legal system, the truth coming out.
Clarity.
Everything coming to light. Yeah.
Right.
So this is him, and I thought this was weird, but when you put them both together, then it makes sense. So the Three of Pentacles, which is working with people and
business, relationship. Yeah.
It's more of a reflection of his attention to detail and his plans,
Where was that card at? That one. What position is that in?
This is himself, and this is the environment he sits in.
Okay.
So this, I don't like this card. A lot of people think this is strong leadership. To me, this is dominating, cruel, over the top authoritarian leadership, at least in my interpretation.
Right.
It always seems to.
But it definitely has that possibility.
Does
for
it?
sure.
Okay, I'm not hallucinating. Okay, Hopes and Fears, Six of Wands reversed. I think, he is a loser. He got caught. But I think he actually also, it could have been a hope. I think he liked the notoriety. He was proud of what he did. It came through in all of these cards that he was very proud of himself because for a very long time he was successful, and it indicated, it fed all his pathology about power and control and all that stuff. So the outcome, the Four of Pentacles and crossed by the High Priest.
Wow. So
he's not divulging all the information. He's maintaining the.
Did he ever try to work the system to try to get out?
No. He got arrested and that was it. I mean, they threw the book at him. I mean, 400 something years. I mean,
400 years. He got 400 years.
He got over 400 years. They were they weren't kidding. And I think that's what this is about.
Yeah, that system.
Yeah.
got
He
him.
faced
Yeah.
he totally faced accountability. And I think he had to surrender to, you know, the code of law, the code of morality of society. But I don't think he ever gave up the pride. I think he had pride about what he did. He was proud of his work. And I think that that's reflected also in this card. And he was,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
makes sense.
yeah, he was very successful in his mind. He died,
Right.
you know, natural causes, and yeah, creepy guy. Really creepy guy. Yeah.
Very creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. Make you think twice the next time you go into a bakery.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really weird combination of things. Baking with that kind of distorted personality. Like there's something about when you get food is like, I don't know. It's like, you know, you think people that make food want to nurture and sort of a nurturing thing, right?
I had a really good friend who was really appalled at me because I hate to cook. I hate everything about it. And because I'm lazy and it's too much work, and all you do is make a mess and then you have to clean it up. And no matter what you make, no matter how well it turns out,
it's ephemeral. Yeah.
It doesn't taste as good as something somebody else makes.
Well, for when you make it yourself. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that can be true.
So, and I dislike it quite. I mean, I made 3 meals a day for 7 people for 25 years.
That's a lot.
I'm done. So my friend used to get very upset. She was quite very new age, and she would say, "Oh, but Helen, you can't put those negative feelings into your food." And I'm like, well, it's better than going out and buying strychnine, but don't tempt me.
That's funny.
Does in keeping with our last
discussion. Yes. Yeah.
So that's it for Mr. Hansen. We can set him aside, and we actually have our next interesting situation picked out. And let's not blow it. Let's not tell them what it is.
It's a pretty weird one. That's a good one.
Oh my God. We say that almost every time.
No, but this one is really,
this is really weird.
Yeah. This one is one of the weirder ones. Yeah.
Let's put it this way. It featured heavily on Dateline. And if you make it to Dateline, you've made it to the top.
Yeah, right. It's pretty twisted. Pretty twisted. Yeah. I'll have to look for the Dateline episodes. Yeah, I'm going to look for that today, actually. Yeah.
It'll be worth it. And there are some books too. So Hansen, I think there is a book. I forgot to write the name of it down, but it wouldn't be hard to find.
I have it. I think I did Google him to find his birthday. I think there's a movie about him.
Oh, there's always a Lifetime movie about every single thing we've ever talked about, Denise.
Is there? Okay.
Just about. I mean, I'm kidding, but practically.
Probably most of them, yeah. Robert Hansen.
And let me say this has nothing to do with psychics or psychos. I watched a movie last night, and it's rare that I see a movie that I just love. I loved this movie. It's called DeLovely.
DeLovely?
DE-Lovely.
Lovely. Yeah.
Based on the song, it's delightful, it's delicious, it's
DeLovely.
Okay, so it's the story of Cole Porter. And, you know, everyone's sick of him.
I know you love
rant and rave about
Porter.
Cole Porter.
I know.
But it's Kevin Kline plays Cole Porter, and Ashley Judd plays his wife. And then I didn't realize this till about 2/3 of the way through the movie. I was watching it and I was thinking, you know, they do such a good job with the makeup. Is that really Kevin Kline as an old man, or is that somebody who kind of looks like him? So I very quickly looked for the cast and discovered that, okay, it's set up like he's I guess he's in the Bardo, but you don't know that at the beginning, but it's not a spoiler. He's sitting in an empty theater talking to, I don't know if it was his agent or his publicist or somebody, and he's being guided, right? And his life is unfolding in front of him on stage. So it's really great because they're using all of his music, and there is dancing, but then they cut away to scenes of ordinary life. But he oh God, what was I going to say? I just lost track of what I was saying about this. Oh, so they cut away to ordinary life, and there are performances because that's what he did. And he interacted a lot with famous musicians and composers. So there's little scenes of people performing and singing, like in nightclubs and stuff.
Right.
And as I was looking to see, was two people playing Kevin Kline, old and young, I realized, oh, that person's in the movie. Who was that person in the movie? And I Googled them and looked for their picture, and I went, oh, is that who that was? So Sheryl Crow, Alanis Morissette, Nat King Cole's daughter, what's her name? Natalie Cole. I recognized her, but she was towards the end. And a couple of other people that I think are supposed to be famous that I don't know who they were.
Right.
But you would never have known that they were modern performers. They were very persuasive.
We're getting a thunderstorm here now.
Oh my God, I heard
that. Yeah. I was like, that's why I'm like looking up going, the clouds are rolling in and lightning is happening.
Wow.
Yes, it was right over our house, probably. Yeah.
Do you have a lightning?
Goldie's scared.
Oh, poor baby.
Scared.
Poor
yeah.
Baby. Well, anyway, I recommend that movie. It's a wonderful escape from reality.
From life.
Yeah.
There is a movie called The Butcher Baker Mind of a Monster that is on Apple TV.
I don't have Apple TV. Do you?
Yeah, but you could probably find stuff on the internet, or like some of it on the internet, I bet.
Oh, sure. I'm sure they've covered it in all of those true crime shows that have episodes. Every podcast in the world probably covered it. We're late to the party, Denise.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody sit on the edges of your seat, and we'll be back with a new Psycho soon, too.
Sounds good.
Soon. Long before. Thank you, Denise.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks.